Okay, so question 20, since I see all this stuff, I'm just going to go and see what the final question is. What is the current market value of the firm's debt? Okay, so that means whatever I get for the current price of the bonds, like the market price, I'm going to need to multiply it times the number of bonds outstanding. So did they give me the number of bonds outstanding? Let's see. Well, we're going to assume that the information here, the long-term bonds at par, if it's, oops, so if it's $10 million of par value bonds divided by 1,000, excuse me, if 1,000 is the par value, then I'd have 10,000 bonds. So I need this, and then I can solve for what the market value of the bonds are. So I need the present value in the future value, the interest rate, and the payment. Okay, so and this is semi-annual, so I hope I have enough room to write this. They mature 10 years from today, so 10, and by the way, let me just highlight this semi-annual here. So 10 times 2, I'll put 20. So remember, N, I, and the payment will all be different because it's semi-annual. The future value will be $1,000. Let's see, the next piece of information is a 3.6% coupon rate up here. So let's go to the payment. So 3.6% times 1,000 would be $36. And we have to divide that by 2. And I always just kind of check myself. So $18 since we divided by 2. And the yield to maturity is 12.8. So if I divide that by 2, since I need to get the periodic rate, so 12.8 divided by 2 is 6.4. And now let's enter this in. So 20 is in, 1,000 is the future value, 6.4 is I, and 18 is the payment. And then I'll just hit compute present value. And so I get $489 and let's say 10 cents. Well, I know they're going to be pretty specific here, but I think we can figure out what it is. Well, really it says 0.977. And so we can kind of see, now if we took, because this is not the final answer, we need to go down here and take 10,000 bonds and multiply it times $489 and 0.977 cents, and we would get $4,890,000 and $890,977 as our answer, which is answer D. So this one had 3 steps. Step 1 is to get the number of bonds. Step 2 was to get the present value, and then step 3 down here was to get the total current market value of the firm's debt. So it was kind of a crazy long problem. Okay, then we have number 25. Field Industries outstanding bonds have a 30-year maturity and a $1,000 par value. Their nominal yield to maturity is 9.23%. That's the yield to maturity. They pay interest semi-annually, and they sell at a price of $890. What is the bond's nominal annual coupon interest rate? So we haven't solved for one of these types of problems yet. So what we want to know is the coupon rate percentage, not the payment. We need to get the payment, but then we need the percentage. Okay, so let's put down this type of information. Payment is what we're going to use the payment to find the answer. So it's a $1,000 par value bond. It has 30 years to maturity, but this is semi-annual. So let me highlight that semi-annual part. So 30 times 2 is 60. The nominal yield to maturity is 9.23, and we're going to have to divide that by 2. So 9.23, whoops, divided by 2 is 4.615. Let me just erase that because that bothers me. Okay, 4.615. The present value says that they currently sell at a price of $890. So that has to be a negative value so we don't get an error message. And then we'll compute the payment and we'll see how that works out. So $1,000 is the future value. 890 negative is the present value. 60 is in. 4.615 is I. And we hit compute payment. And so we get $40.71. But this is the periodic, like 6-month payment. So when we get this, we actually have to multiply this times 2 to get the annual payment amount. And so 40.71 times 2, $81.42. And then to get the percentage, the next step, if we go up here, let me erase that real quick. $81.42 divided by 1,000. And so that should equal 8.14%. And that's answer A. So with this one, you just have to be careful because if you're ever solving for the payment and it's semi-annual, you have to multiply your answer times 2. If you were solving for the interest rate, you would also have to multiply whatever answer you got by 2. And if you were solving for n, you would have to divide whatever answer you got by 2. So pretty much if you're solving for one of these and it's a semi-annual type problem or quarterly problem, you have to do the opposite of what you did in a normal type problem. And that's the end of the sample practice problems for Chapter 7.